and stability to the eastern side of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Indeed, since we commenced the Nairobi process, and as a result of this, humanitarian actors have been able to have some access into these territories to provide much needed humanitarian assistance to the communities they are in. Ladies and gentlemen, the East African Community Regional Force was deployed to offer support to the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I'm happy to note that the modalities have been put in place to ensure that this objective is effectively realized. Indeed, at this stage, I would like to thank Burundi and Kenya for deploying their troops as part of the EAC Regional Force, and further, I would like to urge the other member states to deploy as earlier committed, for it is imperative that we realize full deployment of all elements of the East African Force as per the decision of the 3 conclaves of East African heads of state and the subsequent 22nd Ordinary Summit of the EAC. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to identify firstly the political process and institutional reforms necessary to create an environment conducive for the disarmament of armed groups at regional, national, and provincial level. Secondly, to consolidate support and mobilization, reintegration, and community stabilization program, and address the political and institutional requirements for reintegration areas for the great first time with representatives from Mariana and Tanganyika, and the identification of root causes of conflicts in the 5 provinces. And finally, to evaluate the concrete modalities for the restoration of state authority in each province necessary to accompany the PDDRCs, amongst other issues. So, ladies and gentlemen, the participation of all the invited groups at this consultative forum gives me much hope that all the objectives will be realized, and we believe that at the end of this process, we will be able to see increased coordination and coherence of the Nairobi process with the PDDRCs, the armed groups that are yet to cease hostilities, to honor their commitments to cease armed activities, and to grant unhindered humanitarian access, and the full deployment and operationalization of the East African Regional Force. So as I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to urge all participants to this process, including those who are not yet here on the table with us, to give their support to this process that is vital towards the restoration of peace and stability in the Eastern DRC. And I look forward to opportunities that will enable the region to continue working closely to enhance and strengthen the bonds of purposeful friendship and strategic cooperation for the mutual benefit of all the citizens of East Africa. Wenzangu wa Kongo, mnajua hii sio mara ya kwanza tukutane, tumekutana. Na nimewaambia sana hata vile tuliongea wakati tulikuwa Kinshasa. Na fadha unakumbuka ya kwamba amani ipatikane, haitapatikana kutoka wengine, itatokana kwenu nyinyi wenyewe. Nyinyi wenyewe mkubali ya kwamba nchi ni yenu na mnaitakia amani, na mnataka sasa majembe, vyombo vya kujenga manyumba, muweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba utajiri wa Kongo ni wa kuwasaidia, sio wa kumwaga damu zenu. Na nyinyi mjue hakuna mwingine ana huo uwezo wa kuleta amani ya kudumu isipokuwa nyinyi wenyewe. Yetu ni kuwasaidia, yetu ni kuwashika mkono, yetu ni kuwaombea, lakini jukumu kubwa itakuwa nyinyi wenyewe kama Wakongo, mkishaamua ya kwamba mtaishi pamoja kwa amani, kwa manufaa uongozi, tutakuwa pamoja mpaka siku ya mwisho ya huu. Asanteni sana.
Your Excellency, again for the powerful words that you've given to this congregation. Your Excellencies, we have Dr. Tax, and I want to confirm she's supposed to make remarks on behalf of Her Excellency. Her Excellency, Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan. Communication team, you ready? remarks from Our Excellency Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan to be done by count on Rwanda. And words that promote this process. It's my pleasure, Your Excellencies, to invite His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi, who is on the line. Your Excellency, please, most welcome to give your remarks. As we await His Excellency President Tshisekedi, His Excellency President Uhuru Museveni is also on the line. And you pardon because of the protocols kindly. He has requested that he's going for the next appointment, if he can be allowed to make his remarks. If you can facilitate remarks by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni of the Republic of Uganda. Your Excellency, most welcome. Your Excellency, President Yoweri Museveni, please proceed with your remarks.
Je peux continuer?
Yeah, please, Your Excellency, most welcome. Your Excellency, President Felix Tshisekedi of DR Congo. Your Excellency, most welcome. Karibu sana.
Je peux continuer? Donc je disais, mesdames et messieurs, permettez-moi avant toute chose de m'acquitter d'un agréable devoir, celui de remercier au nom de tout le peuple congolais et en mon nom personnel, le président Évariste Ndayishimiye, président de la République du Burundi et président en exercice de la communauté d'Afrique de l'Est, personnellement cette troisième phase des consultations politiques avec les différents groupes armés opérant dans la partie est de la République démocratique du Congo et qui connaît également la participation de la société civile des provinces congolaises de l'Ituri, du Maniema, du Nord Kivu, du Sud Kivu ainsi que de la province du Tanganyika. Je remercie également mon frère, le président William Ruto de la République du Kenya pour cet honneur qu'il fait à mon peuple et cet attachement qu'il nous manifeste d'accepter de nous recevoir dans son pays pour ces pourparlers avec les différents groupes armés que certains d'entre vous représentez. Je salue et remercie mon frère, le président honoraire Uhuru Kenyatta, facilitateur désigné par la communauté d'Afrique de l'Est au processus de Nairobi, dont l'engagement et la détermination depuis le départ à conduire ce processus laborieux jusqu'à son terme, je le reconnais volontiers, sont manifestes. Enfin, mes remerciements s'adressent à la MONUSCO, dont la représentante
Monsieur le Président de l'exercice de la communauté de l'Afrique de l'Est, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les Présidents, Excellences, Monsieur le Facilitateur du processus de paix de la communauté de l'Afrique de l'Est, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, Mesdames et Messieurs, permettez-moi avant tout de joindre ma voix à l'animateur pour souhaiter à mon tour une chaleureuse bienvenue à tous les participants à cette troisième phase de consultation entre les autorités congolaises et les groupes armés locaux opérant dans l'Est de la République démocratique du Congo. Ces consultations se tiennent dans un contexte singulier, marqué, comme nous le savons tous, par l'intensité persistante dans l'Est des chefs d'État des pays membres de la communauté d'Afrique de l'Est qui, d'abord sous la présidence du Kenya, puis sous celle du Burundi, ont pris rapidement la mesure de la dégradation progressive de la situation sécuritaire il y a quelques mois et lancé en conséquence une série d'initiatives visant à faire face à cette crise. Je tiens également à rendre hommage aux efforts de médiation du président John Lorenzo de l'Angola, président en exercice de la conférence internationale de la région des Grands Lacs, qui a de nouveau accueilli un mini-sommet important à Luanda la semaine dernière. Je me félicite de ces initiatives de paix ainsi que des efforts visant au renforcement de la coordination entre les procédures dans le contexte de Nairobi 3 à Luanda. Encore faut-il que toutes les filles et les fils de la République démocratique du Congo qui ont pris les armes acceptent de les déposer sans condition pour se joindre à ces initiatives de paix. Je souhaiterais donc encourager humblement les chefs d'État de la région à poursuivre leurs efforts afin que des solutions durables soient trouvées face à la menace que continue de faire peser sur la paix, la stabilité et la confiance entre les pays de la région les groupes armés absents de Nairobi. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, face aux défis multiformes et complexes auxquels la RDC et la région sont confrontés, aucune solution parcellaire ne saurait en effet garantir la paix longuement espérée par les populations. C'est pourquoi je voudrais souligner ô combien une approche holistique contribueront, je l'espère, non seulement à l'amélioration de la confiance politique, le chantier du développement des pays de la région. Pour ma part, et au nom de la MONUSCO, dont sa chef, la représentante spéciale du secrétaire général pour la RDC, Bintou Keita, est venue de Kinshasa pour prendre part à la réunion d'aujourd'hui, je tiens à vous assurer de notre engagement à soutenir pleinement les efforts en cela a toujours été le cas depuis que cette initiative a été lancée le 20 de cette année. Par ailleurs, dans la perspective de l'approche globale, mon bureau appuie le déploiement de la cellule opérationnelle du groupe de contact et de coordination chargé de mettre en œuvre les mesures non militaires en vue d'offrir aux groupes armés étrangers opérant dans l'Est de la RDC des options pour leur désarmement volontaire et d'assurément une contribution et pourrait s'inscrire dans la dynamique globale de lutte contre les causes profondes de l'instabilité et des cycles récurrents de violence dans la région. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, sans une adhésion impérative et indispensable au dialogue et au programme de désarmement, démobilisation, relèvement communautaire et stabilisation, et aussi une adhésion au programme DDR à vocation régionale, la paix et la stabilité ne seraient ni possibles ni durables. Et donc, je suis convaincu que les sacrifices consentis par chacune et chacun de vous, tant lors des phases précédentes de ce processus que dans le cadre d'autres initiatives de dialogue dans lesquelles vous vous êtes engagés au niveau de la RDC, il faut espérer que tous ces processus porteront des fruits. Avant de conclure, je voudrais lancer un appel à tous les participants afin qu'ils respectent de bonne foi, les engagements déjà souscrits lors des précédentes sessions de consultation, ainsi que ce que vous serez éventuellement animés à prendre au cours de cette rencontre, de manière que la paix et la stabilité soient une réalité tangible dans les provinces de l'Est de la RDC et dans le reste de la région. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much for those very encouraging words. Your Excellencies, we are the representative of the African Union who is supposed to have been here making remarks. I don't know whether they have arrived, and if they have not arrived, I would urge that we proceed with the program. And it's my very humble pleasure to invite, and Your Excellencies, actually we have also in our midst, been to Mama Keita, who is there also. I think it's also good to appreciate her presence here. We have Professor Saj, who is here physically present, also with us, who has been also instrumental into the process. And therefore now it's my humble pleasure, Your Excellencies, to invite the facilitator, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, to make his remarks. He's been key, instrumental, he's been investing a lot of time to mobilize this, and Your Excellency, most welcome.
Your Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi and Chairperson of the East African Community, Your Excellency William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Excellency Heads of State and Government, distinguished Consultations.
In spite of the difficult terrain, the forest and so on, we can deal with these groups. If the Congo government agrees, they can invite visitors and they visit that sector. those sectors where we are operating with the Congo Army and see what can be achieved. The internal groups of Congo came from the weakening of the state authority in that area for a prolonged period. But these ones also, in my opinion and our experience, can be handled by combining the political methods.
And Nairobi too. And it was on this basis that the community decided to take charge of the process and during that period to undertake a number of working visits, first to Bujumbura, where I briefed our chair, President Daishimie, and received his views on how we can take this process forward. We then moved to Kinshasa, where we had the opportunity to brief His Excellency Felix Tshisekedi and also listen to his views on the state of play and the direction that he would like the process to take. We also thereafter went to Luanda, where we met with His Excellency President Joachim Lourenco in an effort to build synergies between
also the victim communities and the refugees should also be consulted. These people have been, their areas have been occupied by terrorists for all this time. These Congolese communities are the same like the communities of Uganda. They are the same groups, same tribes. The Wakonjo, Banande of Uganda and Congo, the Bahema, Manyora of Uganda and Congo, the Arus of Congo, Uganda, the Rugubaras of Congo, Uganda, the Kakwaz of Congo, Uganda, the ones of Bamba, the ones from Wataringa of Congo, Uganda, the Banyarwanda speaking people of Congo, Uganda, the groups on the Burundi border. These are the same people. We know them. It's not that we don't know what's happening. We know one another. So those people have been suffering, and they should be consulted. Like those dialogue going on. I don't know whether you have called the victim communities and the refugees, because their land has been occupied by these terrorists for all this time. This is not fair. In Uganda, we have got 480,000 refugees. Uganda now is the richest country in refugees in Africa. We have got 1.6 million refugees in Africa here.
Sorry, we have lost Your Excellency. If the technical team can facilitate His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to finalize his remarks. I know he's in transit. Could be
Merci.
As we facilitate His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to finalize his remarks, Your Excellencies, I heard that we proceed with the United Republic of Tanzania. As we await, as we try to connect, I'm told Mzee they're on transit somewhere, so there could be connectivity issues. The people on the we have lost His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and in that case, then as we facilitate so that he can come and urge him to come and finalize, Your Excellencies, allow me to invite Dr. Tax Tegomena to give remarks on behalf of Her Excellency Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan. Your Excellency Dr. Tax Tegomena, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Your Excellency. Please proceed.
Hello?
We can hear you clearly. Proceed.
SG, am I heard?
Yes, you are audible. We can hear you. Proceed. Please proceed.
Hello?
We can hear you, Your Excellency. Please proceed.
Thank you, thank you. Your Excellency, the chairperson of the EAC, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, Your Excellency, the facilitator, representatives from the United Nations and the Africa. I was given to speak earlier, but I would not have done so before my principals have done that, and I appreciate for being given this opportunity. May I begin by conveying regards from my president, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, who would have wished to attend in person, but due to other equally important and pressing matters, she could not attend in person, and she has sent me to represent her. A lot has already been said, and Tanzania supports what has been said, in particular making sure that we support the ongoing process in the DRC, the regional process, but also the African Union process. We remain committed as Tanzania to make sure that we contribute as we are required, but also to ensure that we bring about sustainable peace, but also durable peace. I don't have much to say because I'll be repeating what has already been said. It's just to convey my present regards, but also the apology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate remarks from Her Excellency Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan for our commitment to the process and committing United Republic of Tanzania into the process. Your Excellency, again, with the technology as we try to have Mzee come back, allow me, Your Excellencies, now, with a lot of respect and honor, to invite His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and the host of this very important event. Your Excellency, over to you.
Excellency President Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi and Chair of the East African Community, President Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, President Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, Facilitator of the Nairobi process and former President of the Republic of Kenya, Representative of the United Nations present, the AU present, all other distinguished participants, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Republic of Kenya, it's my honor to address you this morning, and also that of the government of Kenya and the people of Kenya as we host this third inter-Congolese dialogue. I welcome and commend all the participants for attending this very critical meeting that presents an opportunity to seize history and turn the tide towards seeking a lasting solution for the challenges we have in our region. I am encouraged by the progress made so far in facilitating dialogue, negotiations, and the peaceful resolution of conflict in our brotherly neighbor and brotherly country, the Democratic Republic of Congo. This effort and the promising start is significant due to the support and dedication of the chairperson of the East African Community, His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, towards the restoration of peace and stability in Eastern DRC. It is important that we also appreciate with gratitude the role played by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta as he continues to play the role as Chief Facilitator of the Nairobi process. Mr. President, I salute your credentials as you champion peace in our region, and in particular with regards to the inter-Congolese consultative framework. These shared values of the foundation of the East African community also anchor the strong bonds of connecting the nations and people of our greater community. It is self-evident fact that our region is united by a common yearning for peace, hope for unity, quest for opportunity, and desire for shared prosperity. The people of Kenya are deeply invested in the destiny of our brothers and sisters throughout this region, and as a government, it is our duty to actualize their aspirations by participating in frameworks that enhance our collective prospects of peace, security, social, and economic. Kenya commits to you, the President Felix for your sustained dedication and commitment to peace and the determined effort in endeavors to find a lasting solution to the security situation in the Eastern DRC. My government assures you, Your Excellency, and the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as the entire East African region and Africa at large, of Kenya's unwavering support and of our determination to stay this course together until the job is done. Mr. President, you are not alone, and I want you to let our brothers and sisters in the DRC to know that they are not alone. The inescapable tie of geography ties us together in the East Africa like Siamese twins. So long as DRC knows no peace, prospects for prosperity for the rest of EAC and Africa will remain dim and reversible. Instability and insecurity in the DRC will be relentless in undermining human development and holistic progress in and beyond the Great Lakes region. It is not only limiting the potential of our region in terms of trade and investment, but also denigrating the dignity of our people, causing suffering, displacement, and death. In a world of 8 billion people with unrelenting climate change threats, the people of Africa cannot afford to seek help from beyond before exhausting our own proprietary innovative solutions. African solutions are closer at hand given the scope of economic opportunities of 1 billion Africans and vast underexploited physical and human capital. The state of the world behoves us to pull together and pull ahead, the odds notwithstanding. This is why we have taken a decisive position as heads of state of the EAC to do everything possible to find a lasting peaceful solution to this conflict. And I dare say we will not relent. We shall seize every opportunity that comes our way to collaborate in enhancing our capacity of transformative collective action. Towards this end, we shall seek to enhance our bonds of fraternity, purposeful friendship, and strategic cooperation for the mutual benefit of all our people. The security situation in Eastern DRC continues to be a source of great concern. As we welcome the deployment of the East African Community Regional Force, we must recognize that its operational environment remains charged with threats. This demands closer cooperation and greater capacity to collaborate with other regional and international partners to effectively counter the threats that various armed groups and negative elements continue to pose. We are here to emphasize the urgent need for dialogue, de-escalation, and to encourage and facilitate every actor to intensify their pursuit through the effective engagement of regional and international dispute resolution mechanisms. We also encourage regional states to maintain their commitment to existing regional bilateral as well as multilateral understandings. We reiterate the vital importance of utilizing approved frameworks and engaging positively to address all issues, disagreements, misunderstandings, and concerns in order to sustain and enhance mutual outcomes. For its part, Kenya reiterates its unflinching support for efforts that support diplomatic and necessary military solutions to the effective restoration of sustainable peace and stability in DRC. We emphasize that regional peace and security remains our collective enterprise. Specifically for Kenya, you may wish to know, and I'm telling this to my brothers from the DRC, you may wish to know that my predecessor, President Uhuru Kenyatta here, and myself were on different sides of the political contest 2 months ago. And the competition was stiff. But after the election, I met His Excellency the President. I looked at him in the eye and I told him, Mr. President, you have started a very important process in EAC. I would want you to continue that process. And he told me he was ready to do it. Despite all that had gone on, because of the interests of our nation, because of the interests of our region, because of the interests of our continent, and because peace is important to Kenya, to DRC, to our region, President Kenyatta has done a wonderful job as he facilitates this process, because collectively as a country, we value peace. Kenya is firmly persuaded that our well-being and destinies as peoples and nations of this region are intimately and intensely interconnected. Our security, stability, and progress, therefore, is dependent on that of our region and indeed on the rest of the African continent. Consequently, the pursuit of peace and stability is not only desirable and beneficial, it is the inevitable precondition for socio-economic transformation and shared prosperity. Kenya thanks the East African Community Secretariat and the Africa Union for the commendable efforts made so far towards implementing the decision and directives of the 22nd Ordinary Summit of the EAC Heads of State. I also take this opportunity to strongly reiterate the call for EAC member states, our partners, and other stakeholders to act swiftly on respective commitments that we have been made. I want to thank President Suluhu Hassan, the President of Tanzania, for committing to support this process financially. I also wish to thank President Kagame for also committing to support this process financially. And also President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for also committing to support this process financially. There is no greater demonstration of commitment from the EAC than the one that I have seen from the various heads of state of our region. Yesterday, when we met with the chair of our EAC, we decided to call all the other colleagues in this region, and all of them have set aside their schedules to be able to attend this meeting, even if virtually. It demonstrates the political goodwill that we have mobilized for the sake of peace in DRC, because peace in DRC is peace in our region. Peace in our region is peace in every part of our region and continent. For us, as leaders in this region, we take this assignment as an assignment of our lifetime, because our continent is ripe for the huge opportunities. This is the continent of our century, and we cannot afford to lose the opportunity of our lifetime at the altar of conflicts that we can resolve. And it is our commitment, because intra-Africa trade that holds the biggest opportunity for us to trade using the instruments we have already set up in the EAC, in COMESA, in SADC, and in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We have the greatest potential and the greatest opportunity to be able to increase trade and investment, so that we can raise it from the paltry 13 or 15% at the moment to where other regions in Asia, in Europe, in the Americas are at 60-70%. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be the biggest shame for us if while our brothers and sisters elsewhere in the globe are holding huge conferences in big tents to discuss investment and trade, and they are holding huge conferences in big conference halls to discuss trade and investment, our people are in tents as refugees and displaced persons. It will be an indictment on us, the leaders of this continent, and that is why this assignment is an assignment we must not fail to discharge and to resolve. Kenya joins the rest of the region in affirming its utmost respect for the total sovereignty of the Democratic Republic of Congo and for its territorial integrity. I also reiterate the full expectation that the East African Community Regional Force will support and complement the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo in stabilizing and restoring law and order in Eastern DRC. More critically, I call on the force to collaborate with FADRC in supporting disarmament, demobilization, community recovery, and stabilization program. As I conclude, I reiterate our commitment to support our brave and gallant soldiers who continue to demonstrate their readiness to serve and sacrifice greatly for our countries and our peoples to live in peace, security, and stability. Their role is essential, and our support for them is therefore vital. Kenya has been, remains, and always will be a loyal and dependable partner of the DRC and a faithful member of our region in every mutually beneficial endeavor at all levels. Our determination to succeed remains stronger than ever, and our motivation even keener. God bless you. Thank you very much for listening to me. Asante sana. Na wauliza marafiki zetu wa Kongomani, karibuni Kenya. Mkiwa huku Kenya, mjue mko nyumbani. Na vile Rais Kenyatta aliyenitangulia amewaambia, mazungumzo haya ndio iko na suluhu ya matatizo tuliyoko nayo katika DRC. Vile nimesema, yale matatizo mko nayo sio yenu peke yenu. Ni matatizo ya Congo, ni matatizo ya East Africa, na ni matatizo yetu sisi zote. Na sote tutaungana ili kuyatatua. Nataka muelewe vile vile, bunduki na risasi haiwezi kulete suluhu kamilifu. Kuongea kama ndugu na dada, kushirikiana, kusikia mwenzako anasema vipi, ndio chanzo na ndio iko na suluhu ya kutatua tatizo ya DRC ambayo ni tatizo letu sisi zote. Nataka niwahakikishie ya kwamba mkiwa hapa Kenya tutakuwa pamoja na nyinyi. Tumesimama kidete na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kama facilitator wa mazungumzo haya, na serikali ya Kenya tumejitolea na vifaa zote ili kuhakikisha kwamba majadiliano haya, mazungumzo haya yanafaulu kwa manufaa yenu, ya watoto wenu, ya wamama walio mlioacha nyumbani, na kwa manufaa ya jumuiya yetu ya Afrika Mashariki Asanteni sana, na watakia baraka ya Mungu, na mimi naamini ya kwamba mtafaulu. Asanteni sana.
Aya, yaani tumeuza pickup mzima saa hii.
Imeisha.
Ai, kila mtu anataka kununua kwako. Siri ni hii, mimi hupanda na dhabiti DAP.
Thabiti Algon Fertilizer is your surest partner in successful farming. Thabiti is available in various sizes that suit your pocket. Algon Kenya, transforming farms and lives through technology.
As a result, its outlet system is
intelligence. Corporal Ibrahim, aka
Uza vizuri, kocha inafika wakati redio zote
the Iranian side, Minister for Foreign Affairs and
issues. So, ladies and gentlemen, the participation of all the invited groups at this consultative forum gives me much hope that all the objectives will be realized, and we believe that at the end of this process, we will be able to see increased coordination and coherence of the Nairobi process with the PDDRCs, the armed groups that are yet to cease hostilities, to honor their commitments, to cease armed activities, and to grant unhindered humanitarian access, and the full deployment and operationalization of the East African Regional Force. So as I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to urge all participants to this process, including those who are not yet here on the table with us, to give their support to this process that is vital towards the restoration of peace and stability in the Eastern DRC. And I look forward to opportunities that will enable the region to continue working closely to enhance and strengthen the bonds of purposeful friendship and strategic cooperation for the mutual benefit of all the citizens of East Africa. Wenzangu wa Kongo, unajua hii sio mara ya kwanza tukutane, tumekutana. Na nimewaambia sana sana hata vile tuliongea wakati tulikuwa Kinshasa. Na fadha unakumbuka ya kwamba amani ipatikane, haitapatikana kutoka wengine. Itatokana kwenu nyinyi wenyewe. Nyinyi wenyewe mkubali ya kwamba nchi ni yenu na mnaitakia amani, na mnataka sasa majembe, vyombo vya kujenga manyumba, muweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba utajiri wa Kongo ni wa kuwasaidia, sio wa kumwaga damu zenu. Na nyinyi mjue hakuna mwingine ana huo uwezo wa kuleta amani ya kudumu isipokuwa nyinyi wenyewe. Yetu ni kuwasaidia, yetu ni kuwashika mkono, yetu ni kuwaombea, lakini jukumu kubwa itakuwa nyinyi wenyewe kama Wakongo, mkishaamua ya kwamba mtaishi pamoja kwa amani, kwa manufaa yenu na vizazi ambavyo bado vitakuja. Mungu awabariki, Mungu awaongoze. Tutakuwa to date, and I would like to commend these groups for vesting their faith on the process that we are undertaking, and on our part we commit to do everything possible to ensure the success of this initiative. Indeed, having been to Goma and listened to stories of the suffering that people have gone through for so long, I am more convinced that no effort should be spared in bringing peace and stability to the eastern side of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Indeed, since we commenced the Nairobi process, there has been relative calm in the territories controlled by armed groups that are part of this process. And as a result of this, humanitarian actors have been able to have some access into these territories to provide much needed humanitarian assistance to the communities therein. Ladies and gentlemen, the East African Community Regional Force was deployed to offer support to the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I'm happy to note that the modalities have been put in place to ensure that this objective is effectively realized. Indeed, at this stage, I would like to thank Burundi and Kenya for deploying their troops as part of the EAC Regional Force. And further, I would like to urge the other member states to deploy as earlier committed, for it is imperative that we realize full deployment of all elements of the East African Force as per the decision of the three conclaves of East African heads of state and the subsequent 22nd Ordinary Summit of the EAC. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as the facilitator, together with yourselves, we have convened this Nairobi 3 to achieve the following objectives: to identify firstly the political process and institutional reforms necessary to create an environment conducive for the disarmament of armed groups at regional, national, and provincial level. Secondly, to consolidate support and active participation of communities in the disarmament, demobilization, reintegration, and community stabilization program, and address the political and institutional requirements for reintegration of armed groups and communities. To also deepen the consultation of communities and armed groups from the concerned areas for the greater inclusivity and greater ownership of the process, including for the first time with representatives from Mariana and Tanganyika, and the identification of root causes of conflicts in the 5 provinces, and finally, to evaluate the concrete modalities for the restoration of state authority in each province necessary to accompany the PDDRCs, amongst other issues. So, ladies and gentlemen, the participation of all the invited groups at this consultative forum gives me much hope that all the objectives will be realized, and we believe that at the end of this process, we will be able to see increased coordination and coherence of the Nairobi process with the PDDRCs, the armed groups that are yet to cease hostilities, to honor their commitments, to cease armed activities, and to grant unhindered humanitarian access, and the full deployment and operationalization of the East African Regional Force. So as I conclude